Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be understanding what value-added tax is and how to calculate it. This video is important if you are looking to start a business, Amazon as well, in a VAT system country, or maybe you're just learning it for fun. For those of you who think it's difficult to understand, let me tell you, it's easier than you think. Firstly, what is VAT? As of right now, you know VAT stands for value-added tax. The tax in VAT is obviously the cut you pay to the government. No biggie there, right? The value added signifies the entities, like the manufacturer, the retailer, who add value in the supply chain. More on that in just a minute. Just a side note that from 2018 onwards, out of 195 countries, 166 of them have a VAT system. So keep that in mind when you're doing business in these countries. If you ask a professional about VAT, what's the definition of VAT and what it is, their response would be like, tax placed on a product whenever value is added at each stage of the supply chain from production to the sale. Now, it may be easy for some of you to understand that, but not for all of us, right? It raises more questions than it answers. So we take the high points from the definition and dig deep from there, and those are supply chain and value added. So what's the supply chain, you might ask? Well, it's every stage from the supply of materials and the manufacturing of the goods through to their distribution and sale. Now, the supply chain consists of raw suppliers, manufacturer, distributor, retailer, consumers. These make up the supply chain. Now, to see what each one of them does, let's take an example of a wooden desk. The raw supplier mines or harvests the goods and makes them available for the manufacturer. The manufacturer gets the goods from the raw supplier and builds the product. Distributor builds relationships with the manufacturer and markets its products. Also acts as a distribution point for the retailers. The retailer makes that product available and within the reach of the consumers. The consumer, obviously, it's the end customer that buys the product. So the second point is, what does value added mean? As you see, each one of the supply chain entities has a role, and that role is basically the value it's adding to the supply chain. Any transactions between the entities will be subject to VAT. These entities collect tax from each other and submit it to the government or tax authorities. The core concept of VAT is VAT payable. That is the amount that the supply chain entity pays to the government after the transactions. Let's see an example of a retailer that buys a product from the